Hello and welcome back to another review video, and in this one we're going to have a look at not the glare but the box itself, which is the Yokosuka D4Y2-S Judy from FineMolds. Now I should say that I've been looking at FineMolds for quite some time and I was very happy to see this very odd, well not odd, but very unfamiliar plane, Japanese plane, and I just jumped the gun and bought it because I really want to build a FineMolds model and I really want to get something very different from a Zero or a Raiden or whatever there is that it's very common build by modelers. Yeah, like the Key 61 Tony is very common as well. So I wanted something that it's uncommon, and I think this one is very uncommon, especially because there weren't too many built right out of the bat. There weren't too many built of this plane, and this version is especially is a bomber hunter, which has this weirdly placed 20mm Canon inside. It's a similar setup as with the Germans had the Schräge Musik. Sorry, my pronunciation is not that good, and my speech, as you can hear. Anyway, so I had a look at this and I was like, okay, so this is very, very interesting and I really need to do it. And yeah, here it is. And whilst I'm doing the rest of the videos, yeah, we're going to have a look at what the box holds. So first off, we have a really nice little detail here, box art. I really like it. Then the side, a lot of Japanese writing, which I don't understand, but you can get detail of parts. I presume it's photo etch. Yeah, it does say photo etch parts. And then on this side is the usual setup, and then here you have a paint scheme for it as well. Caution, this is not a toy. Good to know. Well, let's open this puppy up and see what's inside. And now for the reveal. So far it's very interesting. Instruction sheets, and yeah, it's quite simple. It doesn't look like a very high detail kit with lots of parts. 14 steps altogether. Then we have 2 sets of small sprues, some metal parts. I think this is going to be the 20mm Canon. Yeah, it looks like it. Then some decals. On the other side, clear parts and some more decals. And then 2 sets of big sprues. Yeah, as I said, it doesn't look like a very complicated kit. It should be a fun and easy build. So let's have a look at the big parts. The plastic is not resealable, which is a tiny negative, but we can live with that, I guess. Oh, sorry, another set of small sprues. Okay. Anyway, let's continue, and I will do a close-up shot. Zooming in. Yeah, nice and close. Yeah. Let's start with the fuselage. You have a good amount of simple panel line detail. I don't see any rivets. Yeah, there are no rivets. I'll try to angle it so that you can see. Yeah, no rivet detail on the inside. Yeah, some simple detail. You do have some amount of cockpit gizmos on the side. Yeah, other side, let's see. Yeah, more gizmos for the cockpit. And then the underbelly. Yeah, I think this plane was a dive bomber originally. So yeah, you have a bomb here as well. And you have a figure, standing figure sadly, so you don't have any figures to put into the plane in flight. It needs to be crewed by ghosts in my setup. As you may know, it is going to be in flight, as always. Yeah, you have some oxygen tanks and other stuff there. Then you have the wheels. There are some flashes. So yeah, it's not the best, I should say, in terms of detail and quality, but it's still manageable, let's say that. And there are the covers for the landing gear. Next up are the wings. Let's see. And again, a lot of flash, so that needs to be cleaned up. On the detail side of things, it is looking okay. You have some rivet detail, but you do have your panel lines. They look quite shallow, so you might want to make sure that you're not slobbering too much paint on and then losing all that fine detail. Here as well, some flash. Well, the wheel well is right on the wing, which is quite annoying. Well, for me at least, if I want to make it closed, because these ones usually are a bit more finicky, but we shall see how well the covers fit in their place. Now the top part of the wing. Oops, sorry for the focus loss. Should come back. Yeah, here we are. And it is okay-ish. Yeah, looking decent. Again, it's not like the Stuka from Border model, which I've been building, because that had crazy amount, and the camera just doesn't want to work now. Let me take it all the way back. Let me take away maybe the checkered pattern. Yeah, there we go. The pattern helped to refocus. Okay, it doesn't like this overall gray, but here we have it. Yeah, it's okay-ish. It's a mediocre kit probably, but I will be able to tell you more when I'm done. Yeah, and you have the horizontal stabilizers and the you have two sets. Oh, okay, so probably there is a difference between some versions. Okay. Now I don't know if you would be able to build the bomber version and this interceptor version as well, but probably you can, and the interceptor is just some extra gun parts. But let's carry on and open up the second set of sprues with the extra metal gun, which we will look at a bit later. Okay, we have the engine cowling. Let's go back in. And it's looking again decent. You have some rivet detail, panel lines here and there. Not too shabby. I don't see too much flash. There might be some damage to the plastic. I don't know if that... Yeah, that might be a bit of damage that you have to rectify. And then you have the prop blades, again, flash, but shouldn't be a big problem. Then you have the intake for the radiator. Yeah, it's yeah, this plane has an inline engine, one of the few in terms of the Japanese planes. Not many had an inline engine. And then this is that I think these are extra fuel tanks. Yeah, I think this is the radiator. Yeah, there you go. Next one, and the last, seats. Yeah, these aren't too great, but at least the cushions are a bit formed, so they do have some butt cheek form on them, as if they would have been used. Then you have the exhaust. Sadly, it's not slide molded, so there is no hole on them, so you might want to carve them out. And then the rudder pedals, control stick, and on the rest. Yep, looks simple. And now let's have a look at this metal 20mm gun, which is quite interesting. Yeah, it looks really nice. Yeah, it has a bit of a bend to it. If you see, yeah, there is a bit of bend in the gun, but I think that can be rectified if you are careful. It's not that bad. Again, you might have a tiny bit of hole, but you can try and drill it. Okay, next up, this is the ammunition box. This looks quite good. Well, let's hope the paint can stick to it, although you can always put some metal primer on it from Mr. Hobby. And this is the third metal part, which I don't know where it goes. On to the clear parts. Opening up. Okay, so you have two types of canopy. One is the standard and one is with this hole in it where the Canon sticks out. And this is full canopy, although you could potentially cut it off, the front part, because you have two. So I presume you would be able to... Oh no, look, this is a very different front part. Interesting. I wonder what that is. And then you have this part. I presume this is going to go into the inside between the pilot and the gunner. Okay, looks decent. Looks decent. Looks like a bit foggy, but maybe it's just some gunk on it. We shall see how it fares after wash. Well, after a good cleanup, I meant. And now let's have a look at the decals. And they look nice and crisp, nothing fancy. As you can see, you have the white and red separate, so you have to be careful to put the red on the white exactly in the middle. But I think I will do rather a paint job on it and paint these circles manually, because luckily the Japanese roundels are the simplest in terms of doing it yourself, which I did on the 1/72 scale Airfix 0, which you can watch, of course. On the top left corner is the link if you haven't seen it before, and then these are the numberings. Simple stuff, very simple stuff, and it looks okay. It looks decent. It doesn't look as to be thick as the Tamiya ones, but we shall see how it goes. Now let's go back out and have a look at the instruction sheet. So you have a nice little detail and story about the plane. I did translate this with Google Translate, and I did read it, and it's quite interesting, some of the stories of the pilots and stuff like that, and like how this version came to be with that Canon, and like some of the success. But of course it didn't have too much success, you know. It was by the end of the war at that point, and really nothing what the Japanese could do against the bombing rate constantly. But it is quite interesting to read about these things. And now we have first step, you're doing the cockpit doodads, compass stuff, and then the separator window kind of thing, transceiver, navigator seat, and then you have the instrument panel. It's nicely labeled, everything. I quite like it. And then you have the metal casted parts, which are for the gun. So you have like oxygen cylinders here, you have the ammo rack, transceiver, pilot seat. This is the bottom of the cockpit. Everything goes on top, of course. Some color callouts. I think this is going to be like a decal here, yeah. And then how you position the navigator seat, drift meter operation. Okay, a lot of things. Now that's the bottom of the cockpit. And then let's see, you can do open closed bomb bay. Well, it's going to be that bomber interceptor, so we are not going to care about these things. I'm not going to care about the bomb either. And then you have that you put the two fuselages together as usual with the cockpit inside. Then here this bomb part, which we are going to omit. Yeah, we are going to do this closed bomb bay. This is what is relevant for us in this scenario. Then you put together the two wing halves. Then you put together the radiator and the front bottom part of the cowling. Then you put together the cowling. And then everything that you did so far goes together and makes a nice little plane. Then if you're interested in the landing gear, it's here. We don't care about that. These are the drop tanks. We don't care about that either. I think I will have to read it up if they actually had drop tanks for the bomber interceptors or not, because well, they had to travel quite a lot and upwards as well to catch the bombers. So I would assume that they might have had it to catch them before they actually reach Japan. But I really need to have a look into that. And then yeah, you put on the rest, and then you put in the gun into its place. Then you put on the canopy, the radiator mast, the propeller, and pretty much done. And here are the color callouts. Well, there is not much to choose from now, is it? Literally each one of them look the same. I will have a look at on the internet if there are any differences, any interesting schemes. I might make up my own a bit, but well, we shall see. You know that I am not too keen on, I'm not too fussed about following historical accuracies in these cases. Oh, and then if you are doing the pilot figure, here are all the color callouts on his uniform and everything. And then separate available accessory parts. Yeah, so you can separately. Well, that's an interesting wording. Well, it is lost to translation. So separately available accessory parts. Yeah, there are some accessory parts for this kit. Like here, now you can have it. Yeah, you can have the harnesses, which we don't. Now it's a good question whether if I'm going to do some harnesses or not. That is a good question. I might look around on the internet if there are any like these that you can buy, but if not, then not. I can live without those. It's not a problem. So there you have it. This is the Yokosuka D4Y2-S Judy. Yokosuka. Hold on a second. It says Yokosuka here, but on the box says Yokosuka. Now which one is it? Good question. Anyway, this is Judy. Say hello to Judy. She is a bomber interceptor, ex dive bomber, and we are going to build her soon. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little diversion from the Stuka series, and of course, as usual, subscribe, like, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.